From the Grayman Briefing, this is a summary of recent developments regarding the Second Amendment, cybersecurity, protests, supply chain disruptions, national security, law and order, free speech, censorship, government oversight, and more. Now, for your situational awareness, Super Essie will be reading out the latest update. Get briefs sent in real time at graymanbriefing.com. That's Gray with an A. Let's get into it.
Beginning with sustainability, infrastructure, and supply chain. Scientists say multiple cities are facing a potential day zero water crisis, including LA, Phoenix, Las Vegas, Denver, El Paso, and Miami. Researchers with the American Water Works Association said that, quote, water supply sustainability and security can present a risk to communities if they are not proactively addressing these risks, end quote. The cities are at significant risk due to prolonged drought conditions, high water consumption rates, and dwindling water supplies from reservoirs and groundwater sources. These other infrastructure issues, like the aging network of pipes and water mains losing 2.1 trillion gallons of treated drinking water annually, are primarily to blame. So think of that, 2 trillion gallons being lost just due to old pipes and leaks. Efforts to mitigate this crisis involve water conservation measures, infrastructure improvements, and exploring alternative sources such as desalination. So if you're not familiar with Day Zero, that's the day they expect to run out of water. Shifting still within infrastructure, but now into terrorism. In New Jersey, a man was arrested at Newark Liberty International Airport after law enforcement said he plotted to target the electrical grid in that state. Authorities report that he is also, or was also, planning to travel to Ukraine to join the Russian Volunteer Corps, which is a paramilitary group there. The suspect is accused of soliciting another individual to destroy the electrical substations of the Public Service Enterprise Group, that's their local electrical utility. And of this person he was accused of soliciting was actually an undercover law enforcement. The criminal complaint alleges that the defendant's post referenced Adolf Hitler, encouraged violence against black and Jewish communities, praised mass shooters, and discussed causing death and destruction on a large scale. According to other court documents, he discussed using Mylar balloons and Molotov cocktails for these attacks. Now moving into national security. The director of the FBI warned that he is increasingly concerned of the risk posed to soft targets by foreign terrorist threat streams, and particularly a coordinated foreign terrorist attack, perhaps, this is quote, perhaps like what we've seen against the concert hall in Russia. He noted that there's been a lot of focus on the known expected terrorist encounters at the southern border, and that number has increased over the last 5 to 6 years, and he said it should be concerning. Quote, he said, frankly, to me, the bigger concern is individuals who either weren't on the watch list at the time they came in because there was not information known tying them to terrorists or terrorism, end quote. He further advised that there are ongoing efforts by China to obtain U.S. technology assets, explaining that there are currently, quote, 2,000 active cases across all 56 of our field offices focused on the PRC's efforts to try to steal our information and technology, end quote. He further noted that the FBI is investigating 100-plus ransomware threats, many posed by China, Russia, Iran, and North Korea. Shifting into global conflict, Hezbollah launched an attack on Israel, firing 30 projectiles from Lebanon into Israel, hitting a soccer field, killing multiple children. The early reports were 10 deaths, but I think that's increased a lot now. This marks the deadliest strike against Israel in the ongoing conflict since Hezbollah began their direct involvement following the October 7th conflict. The IDF attributed the attack to Hezbollah and urged northern Israel residents to seek shelter. The incident escalated tensions, with Israel officials warning of potential all-out war in the north. Soon after, Israel targeted a senior leader in Hezbollah in Beirut, Lebanon. So I think when it first came out, I wasn't sure if they killed that senior leader, the senior Hezbollah leader, or not. I'm sure that's probably solid information now. Also, right after that, senior leader of Hamas in Tehran, Iran, was assassinated. though no responsibility had been claimed by the time of this briefing. So, yeah, this is an all-out regional war and is escalating. Moving into legal updates, the Nebraska Supreme Court upheld a bill, which is LB 574, restricting both abortions and gender-altering procedures for minors. The legislation, known as the Let Them Grow Act or the Preborn Child Protection Act, bans abortions beyond the 12-week mark of pregnancy, with exceptions for medical emergencies, sexual assault, or incest. Additionally, it prohibits gender-altering procedures for individuals under 18, including surgical interventions and prescribed drugs related to gender transitions. As a legal update related to societal collapse and current events, in California, the governor has signed an executive order to begin clearing homeless encampments across the state. Relevant agencies and departments are being advised to adopt clear policies that urgently address homeless encampments while respecting the dignity and well-being of all Californians, and telling those agencies that they must notify and support the people inhabiting the encampments prior to their removal. The order cites 180,000 homeless people in the state and their associated encampments as a threat to safety and the viability of nearby businesses and neighborhoods, and they also say that it undermines the cleanliness and usability of parks, water supplies, and other public resources. The order cites a recent SCOTUS ruling that supports the encampment removals as calls for the governors finally taking action to address the crisis. Now moving into the Second Amendment. Massachusetts has passed a bill, H.4 885, called the Modernizing Firearms Law Act, which bans most semi-automatic firearms, requires a permit for pepper spray, and bans magazines that hold more than 10 rounds. The bill increases firearm restrictions, targeting what they call untraceable ghost guns, banning firearms in additional public spaces like schools, polling places, government buildings, and expanding the 2018 red flag law to allow school administrators and licensed healthcare providers to petition a court to temporarily take firearms away from someone deemed a threat to themselves or others. The bill requires all firearms to be serialized, and as I said, it bans semi-automatic centerfire firearms with 2 or more attachments and a detachable magazine. So, basically, one of the most common firearms we have. It also imposes licensing and testing standards, which one of those is a live fire drill. It also allows the state's Department of Criminal Justice to access firearm owners' personal information and bans the sale of 3D printers and CNC machines if the state deems that they could be used to make firearm accessories. Yeah. Moving into censorship, bias, and privacy. Google's autocomplete feature appears to be censoring search results for the failed assassination attempt on former President Trump, leading to accusations of election manipulation by some. Specifically, searches for, if you type in assassination attempt on, you would think Google would autocomplete that with at least Trump in one of the first 1, 2, 3, or 4 results, but no, it doesn't generate that at all. It generated no responses related to Trump, even when the search is further typed out with Trump's name. Google claims that their systems filters predictions related to political violence automatically. So it's saying pretty much anything about Trump might be related to political violence, so that's why our systems took it out. They said there was no manual action taken to censor Trump. Elon Musk alleged election interference and also called out Google's autocomplete feature by showing that if a user types in simply President Donald, Google then suggests Duck and Reagan, but not Trump. Yeah, a lot of people, I guess, searching for President Donald Duck. I don't know. After Musk's comment, Google corrected the censorship tactic overnight. And there's actually a lot going on with Google. If you type in, I believe it's President Donald Trump, you'll get an array of news about Harris, but pretty much nothing about Trump. And if you type in Kamala Harris, you're going to get everything about Harris and nothing about Trump. Separately, Meta has begun flagging images of Trump's iconic image, the one where he's raising his fist after being shot. They've begun placing fact-check notices on these Instagram posts. Anyone that shares that image gets a fact check. Meta says that they're basically suggesting that there was one image that was altered, and they're accidentally, by error, adding those banners to all the unaltered images. But yeah, we'll see. Moving into commercial oversight, privacy, and cybersecurity, the U.S. Department of Justice has accused TikTok and its parent company ByteDance of using an internal tool called LARC to collect sensitive data on American users' views and divisive social issues such as gun control, abortion, and religion. The DOJ alleges that this data is stored on Chinese servers and accessible to ByteDance employees in China. The DOJ expressed concerns about potential covert content manipulation by the Chinese government, which they suggest could undermine U.S. democracy and stoke social divisions. Okay, up next, we've got that major incident on the Trump assassination attempt. This would be the Grayman Briefing 16th update, and there's quite a bit in it as far as talking about the drones, the guns, and everything used. We're not going to talk about it here. If you're interested in any of the updates on that attempt on Trump, you can definitely sign up at thegraymanbriefing.com. We've kept this week's summary of recent developments pretty short. Remember, these briefings are delivered in real time on the Grayman Briefing, sent to subscribers on Telegram and the Signal apps, and also via weekly email. Due to time constraints and the risk of censorship, we can't cover it all here. The Grayman Briefing is open to the public on Instagram and Telegram. Give them a follow and comment either here on this broadcast or on Grayman's socials would be greatly appreciated. Thanks for listening. Remain aware, be vigilant, and please stay safe.
Get unredacted, real-time briefings sent via email and through the Telegram and Signal apps by joining the Grayman Briefing.